Rahubat, welcome to my channel. My name is Tammy, and on this channel, I'll be sharing my personal journey from Christianity to Nuwapu. I would like first give thanks to my master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, also known as Pa Nababian, for all the many books that he's written. He's written over 1,000 books and all the knowledge that I am obtaining from these books. This had to have been the universe intervening because I was on YouTube strolling and I saw the video of the two brothers. And what made me stop and listen to the brothers was the colors that they were wearing. They had on black and gold. And immediately I thought about my hometown school. We were the Yellow Jackets and our colors were black and gold. And so I stopped and listened to the brothers. And just the information that they were given was so powerful. It was like nothing that I have ever heard. And if my mind was just not opened to something new or was looking for something new, I would have never accepted. I would have probably swiped the video and kept going. But because my mind set was at a point where I was willing to listen and take in what these brothers were saying, and it really changed my whole perception of life. And so I just would like for you to listen to this video and see what I saw and hear what I heard. And, you can go from there.
Because when you ask people what's the difference between a soul and a spirit, they can't answer the question a lot of the times because they think they're both the same thing, but they're not. Everything on the planet has a spirit. So trees have spirits, animals have spirits. Everything has a spirit because it's dealing with vibration, but not everything has a soul. They tell you got 5 senses, yeah? Which is what? Sight, hearing, smelling, taste. But all of those are one because all of them deal with touch. Like for you to see something, light has to hit your retina, your eye. For you to smell something, something has to touch your nose, yeah? The same with your taste. Something has to touch your taste buds or your tongue. The ear, you get sound waves, they have to touch your ear. All of that comes to one, which is touch or perception or awareness, yeah? Your other 4, which they kind of hide, is intuition, telepathy, psychometry, and as I said, clairvoyance. So with those 4 plus the 1, you actually have 5, but it's really 9 because of the 5 plus the 4. This is why I said about the number 9. It's going to keep coming up when you start to deep it and go into levels.
Do you believe in spirits and ghosts?
Okay. One of the things we must clarify: we don't deal with the word belief.
Right.
Yeah, because you can believe anything you want, and we don't like stop people from believing. We respect everyone's beliefs. You can have a belief, but the reality is like there's higher levels. Belief leads you to knowing, and if you look at the word belief or believe, literally you can see the word lie in the middle of those 2 words. And what I mean by that is you can believe in Father Christmas. You can believe pigs can fly. You can believe whatever you want, but it doesn't make it true. And when you actually go and do a study of what does the word belief mean, like if you go on Google now, we've got smartphones, search what does the word belief mean, it will literally tell you that belief means the acceptance of things you do not know or cannot prove.
Now, by watching this video, as you can see, it had a lot of stuff that they were talking about. But, for me, it stirred up a lot in me, and it made me want to know more and more. Because the truth is, we have been lied to. We've been lied to all of our life. What they taught us in school lies. Like, for instance, they said that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492. When we know that that was a lie, because when he came to America, there were already indigenous people already here, and those indigenous people were Black people. And why would they want to take claim of that? So that's just like if you come to my house and put a flag in my yard and say, I discovered this land, when you clearly see that I have a house on it and I'm living in the house, so it's belonged to me, but you taking claim. This kind of stuff has been going on for centuries. Centuries. They've been writing us out of our own stories for so long. Now, we learned in school that Eli Whitney was the first black man to create the cotton gin. And now today we see all these new machineries where they're, picking cotton. But I guarantee none of his generational family is getting any of that generational wealth from what he created. And the same go for Garrett Morgan, who created the stoplight. And you see a stoplight in every city, town, in every country, there's stoplights. And I know that his family is not getting any of that generational wealth from that. We look at Daniel Hales Williams. He was the first black open heart surgeon to perform an open heart surgery and it be successful. And because of him, his prototype is being used in medical schools to teach students how to perform an open heart surgery successful. But I guarantee his family is not getting any kind of recognition for that and any kind of funding for that. And that's just a few things that show us like how, we have to wake up in this country. Like these people care nothing about us. All they want us to do is work their job, work their 9 to 5. On another note, I am so glad that I had the courage to leave Christianity. I feel so much freer because, thinking back to old movies I've watched, and I just didn't put it together then, but now I think about it more. I saw where the slave master would sit on the porch with the rifle in his hand, and he would give the Bible to one educated man. One black man would be the one teaching, and all the other slaves would sit down, and he would teach out that Bible to the other slaves. And I always thought, well, why the man got to sit on the porch? I mean, you would think that he probably was doing it because the slaves would run away. But no, it really wasn't because the slaves would run away. It was because he wanted to make sure that he teach them out that Bible, what was in that Bible. And if he didn't teach them what was in that Bible, they would probably lose their lives. But it was because he didn't want them to teach their own culture because they came from a place that had a culture, that had, I'm pretty sure, their own way of life, their own way of practicing, their culture. But that was not allowed.
Where did God come from?
You see, again, when you say God, yeah,
Oh, which God is the...
that's the point.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
point.
yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, because everyone has their version of what they consider God. I can tell you in the Bible where if you read Revelation 3:14, it tells you that God was created. Yeah, it says, Atom witnessed the creation of God.
So if you go off the Bible story then, Revelations, who created God?
Atom.
And who was Atum?
Atum is an ancient Egyptian deity.
Exodus 7:1, Moses was made of God, by God.
Was it?
Yeah.
Exodus 7:1. If you go into John 10:34, Jesus said that it's not written in your law. I said, ye are gods.
Psalms 82:6. Yeah.
Ye are gods. All of you are gods and children of the Most High. So it's written in there. But in the English, they give you that small g.
Little g and big g
all
stuff. Which is not true either.
In Greek and in English,
there's no such thing as a little g, a big G when you go into the languages.
And then I thought back to this other movie where I saw in Roots, where his name was Kuta Kinte. The scene was where he was Kuta Kinte, and the white man was calling him Toby, and every time he said, "What's your name?" and he would say Kuta Kinte, and he would whip him and whip him and whip him, and then he kept asking, "What's your name?" and finally He beat him and whipped him so bad till he just said Toby. So he gave up his own name. I mean, that's crazy. You think about that. They really wanted you to forget who you really were. And they used Christianity to control us. They wanted us to praise a God outside of us when we were the original gods. People think it's something about us bringing us over here on the slave ship. It was really not a slave trade. It was a kidnapping. They kidnapped us because they wanted what we had. They wanted our melanin. And that means a whole lot. You don't understand who you are and what you are. And that's why when you think about melanin, your skin, that means a whole lot. This is the most valuable thing in this country is your skin. If you think I'm lying, look it up, check it out for yourselves. I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to say, if you like the content, to hit the like, share, and subscribe button at the bottom of the page. And just remember, y'all, we're in a time where love is what we need. We need to share love. If you can help your brother or your brother, your sister, help them. Look out for your people, because nobody else is out there going to look out for us. One time we had a tight bond. Our people were stuck together, and we need to get back to that. And believe you me, I know all of us don't get along, but just work with the ones that you can work with. Share love. Tell your brother that you love them. Tell them that they're beautiful. Tell them that they are powerful. Show compassion, because you are compassion. You are love.